Happy Friday, degenerates. Apparently, there's a button you can put the intros on a loop on that was checked, and I did not know that. How's everybody doing today? Welcome to the Sharp Action Report. This is for UFC 299. We are joined by our favorite guy, Andrew, from across the desk at Superbook Sports. He is doing us a massive favor today. He is out and about in the world, but managed to find strong enough Wi-Fi for us to go ahead and do a show and get some info today. My guy, how you doing today?
Man, I'm awesome. I'm really looking forward to this card, so I had to make this work. Like you said, I'm over in Indian Wells, so I'm going to be watching this tennis tournament today, and then I'll be back booking the fights tomorrow, just hoping the Wi-Fi holds up and there's not too much noise for you guys.
Yep. You know what? It's one of those things where, guys, this is not your average show. Usually he's got the gorgeous Superbook Sports in the background. If there's a little background noise, apologies, but y'all are going to have to deal with it. We'll still get the info. All right. So what we do on this show, like I mentioned, is I just kind of tee up the fights, and our guy gives us a little bit of word on if there's any notable action, whether it be sharp or public, and you guys can use that information to make more intelligent betting decisions for Saturday's UFC card. It's not as much of a breakdown fight as it is an informational show, so it's a little bit shorter. And guys, while you're here, this is home of fight. We're just getting started over here. We're going to blow the brakes off of this thing. Do me a favor, subscribe if you haven't, because this is where the Die Hard MMA podcast is going to be moving forward. And hit the like button for me so we can let everybody else know where the show is. You guys would not believe the amount of messages and DMs and stuff like that, people asking me where my show is. It's not like I haven't been shouting it out or posting it on every social media platform for 2 weeks. They still can't find us. It's a thing. So help me out. I appreciate you guys. Let's get on into it so we can keep this bad boy nice and short. First fight of the night, you've got JoJo Wood taking on Myra Marose. We've got the final UFC fight, retirement fade angle, taking on the OnlyFans fade. You've got Marose winning the first fight between these two ladies, minus 235, minus 240, somewhere in that ballpark. And you can get about 2-1 coming back on JoJo Wood. What are you guys seeing here on this first fight of the night?
Yeah, this is a fun one to start the card because we're actually getting some decent handle on this one. So we actually opened this one up on Marose at 165. We're currently sitting, like you said, 240. We did get a sharp bet early on Marose at 170, and I kind of think there just really hasn't been too much pushback on Calderwood, so that line might just keep moving up. But, yeah, right now the book is needing the dog, and that's kind of how this card is going to end up being. You know how these big pay-per-view cards kind of always stack up. But, yeah, we need Wood first fight.
I feel like this one, you guys are going to have more opportunities at Parlay Busters than normal because there's a lot of really competitive lines on this card, man. Usually it's minus 250, minus 300, minus 275. There's some minus 110s in here. There's some minus 140s. Like, it's not going to be your usual chalk city at UFC 299. So there's going to be some windows of opportunity here for you.
Yeah, I think some of the big dogs have a shot too. I listened to your podcast earlier this week. I think there's some that could be alive for sure.
I agree with you. Hopefully not the next couple, though, because your boy's got a parlay. Second fight of the night, CJ Vergara takes on Asu El-Bayav. And folks, if you're new to my content, because you're new here with me on Home of Fight or something, you're just finding the show, I do an undefeated post weigh-in show. I'll go back over everything after the fighters have their ceremonial weigh-ins and face-offs. That'll be tonight. So I'm not going to talk too much about the weight situation. But CJ Vergara was the only person on this card who missed weight for this fight. So interesting little note tidbit. I will throw that one in there for you. You've got Asu El-Bayav, who is a big favorite, minus 575 here in this spot. And as I mentioned, first leg of a big parlay for your boy. What do you like here on this one, man?
Yeah, so I mean, this price really hasn't stopped since we opened it. We opened it at 380 on Asu, and it just has shot all the way up to 550. To be honest, there's not a tremendous amount of handle on this fight this early in the card, especially when you're looking at a 4-1 dog. But we did get a bigger bet on the under, which was interesting to me. So that's something that I also like and was notable. So that's what we're looking at here.
Yeah, thanks for the heads up on that. I like that. I kind of leaned with an over myself just because CJ's durable. He's got good cardio. I could see that definitely being a thing. But, you know, Asu's definitely got that submission upside, and we have CJ seen, finish some people once they've kind of slowed down and tired out. So interesting. Sharp bet on the under. Good to know. All right. Next up, we do have a UFC debutant here. We've got Robles Despaigne taking on Josh Parisian, another big favorite here. And now we're all the way up to almost minus 350 in some places. I saw a little bit of tug of war early in the week on this spot, but man, I can't, for the life of me, you won't catch me dead betting Josh Parisian at this point, especially against a freak of nature like Robles. Have you seen anything interesting on this one?
You know, this one's actually pretty surprising because we opened it at $4 on Robles, and I kind of just figured with all the hype and everything going into this fight, that price would keep moving up. But like you said, we did get a couple of bets on the dog earlier, which was kind of surprising to me, and it's shot the price down as low as 340. Now it's back up to 350. So I don't know. At the end of this, I think most of the money is going to come in on the favorite, and we're going to end up needing the dog, which I don't feel great about. But yeah, I was surprised to see some dog bets early.
So at this point right now, do you guys actually need Robles?
Yeah, we need for a little bit. But
Okay.
with the parlays, it's hard to even calculate that because you don't know how these big favorite parlays are going to play out. So we'll probably still end up needing the dog.
Okay. 3 chalky legs to get the night started here. Next up, Michel Pereira makes his home at 185. He's coming back to that weight class. Michal Oleksiejczuk is returning here, moving down. So we've got a guy moving up versus a guy moving down, both settling in at 185. Very competitive line here on this one. Minus 145, it looks like, for Michel Pereira. Plus 125, plus 130 over on Oleksiejczuk. And what are you seeing on this one?
Yeah, we opened this one up at 140. We did take a sharp bet early on Pereira. It shot up as high as 160, and then we got a sharp bet back on the other side. So really, I kind of think this line is where we opened it, and there's respected bets on both sides. We're gonna need the dog. It's the same thing for most of these fights. We'll end up needing the dog, but it's good to see respected action back on that dog after seeing the early bet on Michel Pereira. So I feel good about this one. Like you said, it's almost a coin flip. So this one's not like too crazy in the parlays, but yeah, this is one we could use the dog, and I think we have a good shot at it.
Okay. So are you picking the dog? Do you like Oleksiejczuk in this fight?
Early, I was leaning that way, and then I saw that sharp bet, and I was like, maybe not. But then the second one came in, and I'm feeling better about it. That was my early opinion or early lean.
There you go. All right. Good to know. Next up, you've got Felipe Lins taking on Ion Cutelaba, a couple guys that, I've kind of said both of them are good hammers but bad nails. So going to be interesting to see who wins that battle here on this one. This one should be fun. It should be absolute chaos, close to a pick'em as you can get. I'm seeing like minus 110 or minus 118 on Ion Cutelaba, and even money or minus 105 on Felipe Lins. So very closely lined fight, very competitive. No bet for me, man. What are you seeing on this one?
Yeah, from my perspective, this is a fight I just won't touch because both of these guys, I don't know how to handicap these two. But from a betting perspective, it actually seems like the customers kind of agree with both of us. This is like the lightest bet fight on the card so far. It's actually sitting right where we opened it. Very light action on both sides. Small bet on the under, but there's really not too much to report with this fight.
Okay. I actually think the under makes a lot of sense in this one. I try to steer clear of 1.5s, but I actually think there could be some value on the under 1.5 for this fight. Kind of expect Ion to go, balls to the wall early, and that'll either get him the finish or get him finished.
Yeah, this was a late add to the card, right, as well. So we didn't have this one up with odds as long as the other fights. So that could be another reason it hasn't been bet too much yet as well.
For sure. All right, Pedro Munoz, Kyler Phillips. Man, I'll be honest with you. I looked at parlaying Kyler earlier in the week, and then I kind of dug in and did my tape study and was like, ooh, maybe not. Like, I'm still picking him to win, but I don't think I like that number. And then I've started to notice a little trickle down on those odds, man. Have you seen some action here coming in on the dog on this spot?
Yeah, so we opened Kyler Phillips up at 220. All that parlay money and action was coming in on Kyler Phillips, and it got as high as 260. But like you said, there's been some pushback once we hit 260. So now we're actually back where we opened the thing. But there has been some pushback. But early on, there was a ton of money on Kyler Phillips, and especially with the parlay liability, we could use the dog, and it's nice to see a couple of bets come in at the dog when you get them.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's what we need over here. We need the dog, early action on the favorite.
Okay. All right. And I think you guys might have a live dog. That's like an early potential parlay buster, in my opinion. Next up, though, I can't wait to hear what you've got to say on this one, man, because this is my hot take for the week. Mateos Gamrot takes on Rafael dos Anjos. And I think the second biggest favorite on the card, Mateos Gamrot, at about minus 450 at this point, plus 350 on the dog, Rafael dos Anjos. Man, I think this one could be the sneaky parlay buster of the week myself. Any notable action that I need to know about on this one?
Well, I mean, I don't have too much on the notable action, but the line is pretty crazy. Like you said, how much it's
nuts.
moved. We opened it at $3 on Gamrot. It's almost sitting $5. So it's sitting
crazy.
$4.50 in Vegas. All the money really has come in on Gamrot, which was, like you said, kind of surprising to me. I wouldn't say any of it is overly respected, but clearly there's respected money out in the marketplace if that number has moved that significantly. And that's one that, I mean, if RDA wins and you were right about this one, I would set up the book in a good spot. Like we really could use RDA in this spot.
I hear you. I hear you. Fingers crossed, man. I would love to see one last ride with RDA, not only as a fan, but for my bet. My wallet would feel good if RDA came through for me here on Saturday.
I mean, he's definitely a dog that will fight for your money. So I feel good about this one. Not necessarily that he's going to go in there and get the win, but I feel like he's a guy who will make it competitive. So
absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. All right. Real quick shout out, JDW in the chat asking what sports book is he talking about? Andrew is the head Priceline negotiator over at Superbook Sports, JDW. So we're talking about Superbook Sports, notable and sharp action coming from one of the biggest and best books out there. So definitely, a book stationed mostly in Vegas. They've done some spreading out around and things like that, but very well known, very notable. They run the Super Contest for the NFL every year. So this is good, solid information we're getting from our guy, Andrew. You can find him also on social media. Make sure you give him a follow. He's a great follow to have on socials. And every once in a while, he'll throw a little nugget out for us on socials if a notable bet comes in or something like that. So definitely show our guy some support here. Next up, you've got Caitlin Chookagian and my girl, Maisie Barber, going at it. This line terrified me early in the week. I ended up just kind of saying, you know what, ride or die with my girl, man. I'm going to go ahead and play it anyway. I've got Maisie Barber myself in a parlay, a little bit worrying because Caitlin is just so experienced and knows how to win these fights. Plus 170 on the dog. What are you seeing on this one, man?
Yeah, this is an interesting one because I feel like we actually priced this one pretty close to where this one's going to close. We opened up Barber at $2. It's sitting $2, and there's been action both ways. So there hasn't really been much movement on the line. I'm a big Maisie Barber fan, but I do think this is one of those fights. Like when you were talking to your podcast, it's what is it? Die by Chookagian by decision, but
death taxes and Chookagian by decision. That's the term.
So I mean, I feel like it's a competitive fight, and really I don't have too much to give you guys with the notable stuff, but there's been good action on both sides, and I think this is where the price is really going to end up sitting at $2.
Okay. All right. Seems like we're going to stick right around here. Nothing too crazy to note on that one besides my degenerate parlay. Next up, Curtis Blaydes, Jailton Almeida. A really weird one, man. Almeida a couple of weeks ago was a massive favorite in this spot. Now we're looking at a pick'em price tag. I took the bait. I bet on Curtis Blaydes myself. It's kind of a show me spot. You know, I've always been a little down on Jailton Almeida, so I need him to really come through and show me he belongs at this level if he's going to be here. But what are you guys seeing? I got to hear from like the bookie side of things on this one, because with that line drop, are you guys wanting more action on Jailton because you don't believe in him? Are you guys hoping to trick saps like me into jumping in on Curtis Blaydes? Like, what's the deal? Did I fall for the trap, or am I on the right side?
Well, I'll definitely say from my perspective, I was definitely drinking the Kool-Aid on Gelton Almeida, so um, I felt really good about this fight until I saw the Derek Lewis one, and I know everyone is saying pretty down on him after that fight, and I think that's really why that uh, price dropped from like $2 down to a pick'em, and
Mhm.
this is a fight. Yeah, I mean it's me riding with my guy. The book is really going to need Almeida. Most of the money is coming in on Curtis Blaydes, but the price. I won't lie to you guys and say I feel great about this one. The price has kind of told me my guy is in for a tough fight, and if I had to bet this with a gun to my head, I think I would bet on Curtis Blaydes. But I'm a big Almeida backer, and I think that's what the book is going to need. But I'm nervous about this one.
Okay. Okay. Good to know. I'm nervous, man. I'm nervous. I made my argument for this fight and I locked my bet in early in the week. You know, it was one of those ones where, like I said, I would have liked more plus money on Curtis Blades, obviously, but when it dropped down to a pick 'em like that, I thought maybe the bookies were having a second thought about that number, and I'm
Yeah.
like, all right, I need to get in on this. That's the way I was leaning anyway. But now I'm kind of a little nervous as we get closer to fight time because every once in a while you find that guy that's just the dude. You know, all the hype is real. Everything makes sense. It's exactly what your eyes have told you it has been this whole time. And I'm worried I'm betting against that guy. So I'm nervous,
Yeah.
but I'm in. Let's go, Curtis Blades.
My bosses always tell me sometimes the price doesn't lie and you can't always think with your heart. So this one is definitely one where I'm looking at the price and I'm like, damn it, my guy's probably going to lose this one. That's how I'm feeling.
Well, man, hate to say it for you, but fingers crossed. I hope you're right. Let's go, Blades. I want that one. Next up, Piotr Jan takes on Song Yadong, and another interesting pricing wise one, man. If you've got anything to say on that, Jan has been a massive favorite his entire UFC run. He's dropped a couple of close competitive split decisions, and of course the knee to Aljamain Sterling. He's on a 4-fight skid. Song Yadong, he's hotter than Derek Lewis's balls right now. He's going up, 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 and we got a pick 'em price tag on this bad boy. I've got a small bet on Song Yadong. He's my boy. I'm ride or die again. If you give me plus money or a pick 'em on this guy, I'm gonna bet it every single damn time. But what are you guys seeing over there from a betting perspective? Anything notable, whether it's the public on a side or the sharp on a side? What are we looking at here?
Yeah, so we opened up Peter Yan at 150, and the return on that was 130 on Yadong. Right away when we opened this one, our biggest bettor at the Superbook came in and bet on Song Yadong. So
The
that
big guy?
automatically, the big guy came in and bet on Song Yadong. So that was obviously very notable for us, and we've worked basically all week to position ourselves to need Song Yadong. And
Okay.
to be honest, it hasn't been that difficult because I feel like there is a lot of people thinking that this is like a must-win situation for Peter Yan. So the price is kind of creeping back up on Peter Yan. It got down to closer to a pick. Now it's in 125, but there's some backers on Yan as well. But from our booking perspective, we're all in on Song Yadong this week.
Okay. All right. Everybody, again, those of you who have been around, but everybody else, take note. When these guys get action from the big guy, that is their number one UFC bettor. Now, every bettor goes through streaks. He had a bit of a cold spell at the beginning of the year. He's kind of gotten back on track since then, but they basically sit up and take note when this guy comes in and makes a bet. We have big guy action on Song Yadong for UFC 299. Good to know. All right, man. Next up, Gilbert Burns taking on Jack Della Maddalena. Very interesting fight here for me. Now, Gilbert Burns, he is with us here at Home of Fight. He's one of our boys, so we're obviously pulling for Gil to go ahead and get the win here. But I couldn't help but notice that he's been a underdog pretty much all week and currently sits at plus 140. What are you guys seeing on this one?
Yeah, I'd say definitely most of the bettors have been big on Jack Della this week. He's one of the more popular fighters for sure on this card. We opened this one close to a pick. It was 115 on Jack Della. It's sitting 170 now. So that kind of tells you everything you need to know where that money is coming in hot. I'm pretty surprised it shot up to 170. When we opened it at a pick, I kind of thought that was more like the right line. And as this thing keeps shooting up, this is one that for me, I know we don't usually talk about all my opinions, but this is one that I have an eye on, and I think that Gilbert Burns might be a good bet. And as this widens, I mean, if I can get plus 150, plus 160, I'm not totally against it. But yeah, from the book, we definitely need Gilbert Burns here. That would be a huge spot for us. So.
Okay. All right. So the bookies needing the dog here on Gilbert Burns in this spot. I find that interesting because I would have assumed it was sharp action that kind of moved this line. And it looks to me, I see a lot of people picking Gilbert Burns. So I'm kind of surprised to hear that it's just been an overwhelming landslide to Jack Della, because
they could be sharp. There's large wagers on them. Not everybody is labeled perfectly at first.
Yeah.
Sometimes large wagers come in from unknown people. So like I said, this could be sharp action. Clearly, there's sharp action out there in the market for it to move from a pick'em to 170. So, yeah, I'm just surprised it has shot this far.
Yeah, it seems like it's getting out there for sure. I thought the pick'em made a whole lot of sense myself. All right, there you go, guys. Do with that what you will. Next up, Kevin Holland welcomes Michael Venom Page to the UFC. And I'll be honest with you, man, I'm lost. I don't know what to do with this one because I don't trust Kevin Holland at chalk ever, unless he's fighting somebody like, I don't know, like Joaquin Buckley, where I know he's going to win the fight however he feels like, one way or the other, whether it's finish or decision. But in a spot like this, where Michael Venom Page, man, he's coming to the UFC. Maybe he's a little old, but he reminds me a lot of what happened when, I'm totally blanking Chandler. When Chandler came to the UFC, I tried to take my shot and put my, dig my heels in and go, no, the UFC boys are better. I'm taking Hooker. It feels like that. Like, we've got a favorite price tag on Kevin Holland, but I feel like the UFC is probably putting Venom Page in a spot to succeed for his debut. So I haven't made a move yet, man. What are you seeing on this one?
Yeah, this is a super fun fight. And I'd say out of this whole card, this is the one where there's so much handle on both sides. Like, I feel like it should be the right price on this fight as a pick'em, just the way it's being bet. It probably has the most handle other than maybe the Poirier fight, but this one, both sides probably has the most handle out of all the fights. So we opened at 130. It shot up like 10 cents, 20 cents, but then we get a big bet on the dog. It's kind of just sitting right where we opened it. But we did get a respected bet as we moved it up on Holland. We did get a respected bet on Michael Venom Page, which is something that was notable to us. But right now we could use a couple dogs like we've talked about. So we're rooting for Page, but there's been great handle on both sides.
Okay. Wow, that surprises me that this is the most action on the entire card. I would have thought one of the two, main or co-main probably earned that honor, but wow, that's impressive. All right. Good to know. Sharp respected action on the dog and the most handle on the entire card for this fight here. Next up, co-main event. Dustin Poirier takes on my boy Benoit Saint-Denis. It's got a wartime, baby, but this is a 5-round fight. Dustin's got the experience edge. Benoit Saint-Denis is a physical freak. He's way bigger. I can't wait for this fight, man. I am super pumped up for this one, and I need to know if there's any sharp action on my guy Benoit. I need the confidence boost that my guy's going to get the win.
Yeah, I mean, according to this market, you are definitely on the right side. It's been surprising to me. One of the guys I'm really close to in the back, he is the biggest BSD guy I know. That's his favorite fighter, and we've just been talking about this fight for a while. He thinks he's next in line for a title shot. I think he's holding the ticket just like you on him to be champion. So this is a super fun fight. We opened this one at 150 on BSD. It's shot all the way up to 230. There's been a lot of backers on BSD, some respected action on him as well. So obviously that's something we have to keep our eye on. But as this price keeps getting closer to $3, I'm just like, there's something. I texted you earlier this week. I'm like, are you all in on BSD? Something is just telling me that this is a huge step up, and Dustin is going to make this a competitive fight. 5 rounds. I'm hoping he can get it done for the book, but there's part of me that wants to get in there and actually bet this one. So the book definitely needs Poirier here. All the money coming in on BSD. If it was probably single fighter who's riding the most handle, it would probably be BSD this week. He is a popular one for sure. So, yeah, rooting for Poirier here, but rooting for you as well.
I appreciate that. No, that makes me nervous, man, because the secret is out on VSD, right? Like, I was in the minority. I was cashing big tickets on VSD. Now that everyone knows who he is and we're laying 2-1 against a guy like Dustin Poirier, it's a whole lot more nerve-wracking to support my guy. But those of you who missed it, every January, Andrew and I get together and Superbook Sports puts out the futures odds for UFC. We go over every single division and talk about the champions and stuff like that. It's a real fun show where we go over what we think's going to play out for the rest of the year and talk about our bets. One of the ones that we both highlighted and circled was Benoit Saint-Denis to be the champion at the end of 2024. And if he gets this win over Dustin Poirier, I think we're very live for him to steal that next title shot position and maybe get like a November or December crack at gold. So at 30-1, we both liked that number. We got to look at it, and that's crashed. Anywhere else that's offering futures or anything like that, the number is nowhere near 30-1 at this point. So feels good. Make sure you guys get ready because we'll be doing that again next year come January when this kind of stuff comes back around. One last time, guys, it's the main event. This is the Sharp Action Report. We're joined by Andrew from Superbook Sports to help us out with all this stuff. You're on the home of fight. Do me a favor, subscribe, hit the like button if you haven't done that for us already. We appreciate you guys. Sugar Sean O'Malley taking on Marlon Chito Vera, 135 main event spot. And man, I have hated on Sean O'Malley for years. Like I've mocked him relentlessly and pissed off his fan base. It's good for clicks, but I've turned around and bet him also every single time. So I'm not like a real hater. I'm like a clickbait hater when it comes to Sean O'Malley. But here we are with him being a big favorite, making his title defense. Big number here. We got a plus money dog that has a win over the champion. Talk to me about this fight, man. What are you guys seeing?
Yeah, this one I'd say is pretty similar to the last one with the movement. So we opened this one with O'Malley as a $2 favorite. It's all the way up to 270 now. It's been surprising that we haven't gotten too much handle on Chito or Poirier because they're both pretty popular fighters, and you can get them basically both over 2-1 now. So that price is kind of keep shooting up, and it's interesting, like I said with the last one. Seeing people so comfortable laying over $2 on these guys because you usually don't see that kind of thing. But this hasn't been the biggest bet fight. There's been some big bets on it, but not too much. We did get a really big bet on the under, which was pretty notable, and I can see that one happening for sure. So even though I know Marlon is super durable, there's a part of me that think if there is a finish, I would lean towards Marlon. So I'm surprised we haven't gotten more bets on Marlon. But yeah, right now we need the dog. That price is just juicing up. Might get up to $3, but that's what we need over here.
I was gonna say, man, I'm actually surprised it's not already at $3. I've been kind of sitting here waiting for Sugar Sean to hit the $3 mark, and it just hasn't happened yet. Is there any reason for it not going up that high? Because I feel like it's a landslide. Everybody's on Sean O'Malley this week.
Yeah, I think I said it last time I was on. A lot of these big underdogs, the day or a day before the fights, some of our sharper customers wait till those. They see these prices juice up over the week because they know the sports books get all the liability on these big favorites. So once it maxes out, some of these guys come in, and then, like you said, right before the fight, when you see a line crash 100 cents, you're all panicking about the fight.
Yep,
but
everybody freaks out.
Yep, that's definitely something I could see happening with the Poirier fight and the O'Malley fight. I could see somebody sharp or somebody with a lot of money coming in and betting those two dogs for sure.
Okay. All right, folks, there you have it. That is the Sharp Action Report for UFC 299. Do me a favor, give our guy Andrew a follow on social media. Go out there and follow Superbook Sports. They're a great follow to have good access here. Show our guys some love and appreciation. And we do this every single pay-per-view card. Every once in a while, if there's a good enough betting handle, we'll do it on a non-pay-per-view card. But it's a really awesome show, and we definitely appreciate your time, Andrew. If there's any promos or anything coming up, anything that people should know about, let them know, man.
I'll be back at the book tomorrow, so I'll try to next time for the podcast, have the nice super book in the background so people know I actually do work at a sports book. But
you're an
but
industry
yeah,
plant, man.
yeah, I'm an industry plant. No, I'm really looking forward to this card. I'll be back at the book in this card tomorrow, so I'm super excited to see all the handle coming in. But like always, I really appreciate you having me on, and I'm looking forward to watching some tennis. So if any of you guys got some winners in the tennis world, shoot them over my way.
Absolutely, man. Will do. And I'll have my notifications on. Let us know if anything rolls in late. Thank you very much, everybody. We'll be back for the Undefeated post weigh-in show tonight, right after the ceremonial weigh-ins. I believe those are at 5 p.m. Eastern time today. So I'll be going live shortly thereafter, right here on the home of Fight. Thank you guys very much. We'll talk to you soon. Let's roll.